About his business here, Aleix Espargaro, real local boy from the local town of Granollers. Afternoon from the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya in northeastern Spain. It's round 7 of the MotoGP World Championships and we've got a 24-lap race. We are about to find out here in northeastern Spain. Flags are taken away. Jorge Martin at the back of the grid. Quartararo on pole. The lights go on, and when they go out, the Catalan Grand Prix is underway, and it's a decent start from the Yamaha of Fabio Quartararo. That whole shot device is working perfectly, but as they go through the gears, can the Ducatis get close to him? It looks like Jack Miller is going to outbrake Quartararo, and he does do. Into turn 1, watch out for Oliveira too, around the outside, and for Quartararo's given up the lead and second place now to the 2 riders he didn't want to, and that is Jack Miller and Miguel Oliveira, crucially.
Oliveira has been on fire this weekend. Second last time out in Mugello, and he's brought that confidence and that feeling forward. He's looked great, he really has.
Further down the order, Paul Espargaro taking such a tight line there into turn 4. Pecco Bagnaia's lost a bit off the start, but it's going to be his teammate Jack Miller who leads as Johan Zarco pushes Maverick Vinales wide, and look who's made progress from 10th on the grid. Joan Mir, but he wheelies coming out of turn 6 as they head down to this bowl of turn 7. Very, very tricky in there. Mir had to sit up, but he's reclaimed 4th. What an opening lap from Joan Mir, the world champion. He's
always aggressive on the first lap, is Mir, but he's had to be, hasn't he? I mean, for the last 2 seasons, he's not been able to qualify that Suzuki. So, yeah, he is the man who's incredibly aggressive and precise.
Best qualifying this year for the world champion has been 9th, as Maverick Vinales, who started on that second row of the grid, has lost the position here. He needs to be aggressive, needs to tick in, but as Susie Michael was saying, will be strong as the race goes on. We know he's good on tyres. Frankie Morbidelli, it looks like his start has gone awry. He's dropped from 5th down into 10th place. Marc Marquez has made progress. He's up into 9th as they come around the Catalunya corner, the final corner on this circuit. Aleix Espargaro into 5th. We've got a race on here. We didn't want Fabio Quartararo at the front at the end of the first lap, and that's not what we've got. It's Jack Miller from Miguel Oliveira down the home straight. Oliveira on the inside, very strong on the brakes, the Portuguese rider, but Miller just had so much
really
more.
Late there. Sorry, Maverick Vinales and Brad Binder into turn 1, Gav. It was so tight. I thought Binder was going to let the brake off. I'm glad he didn't, because both riders would have crashed, definitely.
Joan Mir here, I'm intrigued. He's right in behind Quartararo, and you just feel if Mir, last year, what was the race? It was him and Alex Rins chasing down Quartararo. He'll feel if he can get in front of Quartararo, make life difficult for him. As, Miller's run it wide there, hasn't he?
Yeah, made a mistake there, Miller, but he's got good track position here, so he should be able to hold second. Yes, he has.
And he opens the door there. Is it enough for Mir to also sneak through? That Yamaha drives so well, doesn't it, out of the slower corners.
And he's dived up the inside. There's Quartararo, but he's gone really wide, and this is going to cost him quite a lot of time.
Oh, and it's really going to cost him, because he's gone onto the inside, and Aleix Espargaro is going to come through, as well as Joan Mir. And Fabio Quartararo is being messed up by the other riders. He's dropped down into 5th place. We've got 5 different manufacturers in the top 5 positions in the MotoGP race here in Catalonia, and he's got Maverick Vinales, his teammate, right just behind him now. Quartararo, how it has changed in these opening couple of laps.
And I think I can see, is that number 93? Marc Marquez, who's had a great start, and he's right in the mix there.
Felt he had a bit more strength after having crashed out early on in the Italian Grand Prix. So what are we going to get from Marc Marquez, who won here, of course, back in 2019, as they round the final corner now? It's Miguel Oliveira, who had a win, let's not forget, twice last year, once in Austria, once in Portugal. But it was only until the last round in Italy, with all the changes on that bike that we've been hearing about this weekend, that they finally seem to get things going. Quartararo's lost another position down the straight there. Johan Zarco's powered past him. So Quartararo 6th, Vinales 7th. This wasn't in the script.
Not at all, but what he has to do, he has to stay calm now, Fabio. He's obviously been disturbed. Exactly what we talked about before the race. It's the only way you could stop him is to try and break that rhythm, and that's happened. Now, if you're Fabio, the key is not to panic. We know he's got the race pace. Calm down, settle, get some sort of rhythm, and try and start picking the riders off. But meanwhile, you've got Vinales behind you, Marc Marquez, Binder, Bagnaia. They're all going to try and obviously pull a move on him.
And he's already pulled his own back on Johan Zarco, who, again, this is the situation like in Mugello, isn't it? Zarco down the straight, just able to breeze past him. This was Quartararo making the move in turn 7, and I think he just rushed it in a place where
he shouldn't have.
It's not a common overtaking point, that.
No, it was a rash move, and as you can see, he's paid heavily for it.
Lost a couple of positions, then lost another down the straight, and Johann Zarco here. Well,
here comes Marquez as well up the inside of Vinales.
Oh,
Binder was so aggressive. I don't know where Binder was looking there. Yes, he's hanging off the motorcycle, but he was always going to connect there with Vinales. That was close.
They're both lucky to stay on board, aren't they, with that one? The rear wheel of Maverick Vinales as Binder fired it up on the brakes on the inside. It's his teammate who's leading. Just quietly getting about his business here, Aleix Espargaro, real local boy from the local town of Granollers, which is just a couple of K from the track, and he's up there in 3rd place. This is the best we've seen from the Aprilia. I know it's been up in the opening rounds of this year, but we've always said he needs to get into that top 5 to really solidify the progress this bike has made.
Yeah, and Aleix has looked fantastic all weekend. From free practice 1 straight out of the box, that Aprilia has worked so well around here. And normally, I'm going to call it the old Aprilia, was always quite kind on the rear tyres, so I'm not as aware of what the that was late again. These guys, I thought that we'd see quite a sedate race, to be honest, early on, because as we know, you've got to be kind to that rear tyre, but it's the last thing we're seeing. But yeah, back to Aleix, it's going to be interesting how the new Aprilia, with that different chassis, different swinging arm, obviously different aero package, how it sort of deals, or how the motorcycle sort of operates that rear tyre, if it's as kind as the old bike was.
Yeah, I think Binder felt he does have similar kind of pace to Oliveira, and he's got frustrated in these early laps, hasn't he? And a few rash manoeuvres from him, and that means he's down there in 9th position while his teammate is up there. Aleix Espargaro going through on 2nd place to chase him down, but Miller great through turn 11, that lovely new corner that we've got here. It's a re-profile version. It's basically like the old one that we used to have here, and they remodelled it when they had to change the track around, and finally they decided to go back, and it is definitely motorcycle friendly. So Oliveira streaking away. The thing about Oliveira is his pace can go to the end of the race.
Yes, yeah, we've seen that. He's consistent. He knows that hard rear tyre will work for him throughout the race, and he's comfortable in this position, Miguel. We saw it Portugal at the end of last year. He can lead a race, he can be consistent.
Joan Mir through on Aleix Espargaro and back into 3rd, so Aleix briefly in 2nd, but he's back into his 4th spot, and Fabio Quartararo lurking. What about this ride from Marc Marquez? All Honda riders, both he and Pol Espargaro, but even Taka Nakagami, so down on the chances of that bike this weekend, including Marc, saying we're not quite there at all. This is still just a test. Frenchman, and a lot of French have come across the border here in Barcelona to cheer him and Quartararo on. We thought it would be one Frenchman winning. Could it be the other? Johann Zarco with 1 lap to go in the Catalan Grand Prix. It's a Portuguese rider, Miguel Oliveira, leading just under 2.9 miles left of this Catalan Grand Prix, and Zarco trying everything he can to get on the back of Oliveira. The gap across the line was 0.3 of a second. There's still going to be a chance for Zarco to attack late on. I'm thinking turn 10.
Look at this, the gap's coming down all the way. That Ducati looks like it's turning better. He's got a little bit more grip, I'd say.
What did Zarco say? He'd learnt riding behind Quartararo in Mugello. He'd learned something for these kinds of corners that he can employ this weekend. He won't give away what it is yet, but it's working for him.
With his body as well, hanging off like incredibly.
How great would this be for him, for the Pramac team, if they were able to win a Grand Prix here in MotoGP in Barcelona? It's Oliveira from Zarco. Zarco pushing hard. Oliveira's been brilliant in this race. Do not take anything away from him for a second. He's ridden metronomically, he's ridden consistently, but he's going to come under pressure here, perhaps from Johann Zarco. The final run up towards turn 10. Still Miller is close in behind Quartararo. Oliveira just needs to make it stick in here, and that should be that at the front. Miller isn't going to be able to attack Quartararo in 3rd place as they come around turn 11 into the stadium section. They flick right for the final time. Has Jack got something? Has he? Quartararo trying to hold the Australian at bay, and Quartararo has been given a 3-second penalty, so he is going to drop out of the podium position.
Exactly like we called, Gav. he didn't lose enough time. You have to lose a second if you run off the track at turn 1, and he definitely didn't.
Zarco isn't close enough. Miguel Oliveira wins his third MotoGP race in fine style in Barcelona. Zarco is second yet again, and Quartararo will not claim third. He'll get a 3-second penalty, and Jack Miller will take fourth. That 3 seconds will be enough, though, for Quartararo to just slot in behind Miller in fourth place, because Mir in fifth was 3.3 behind the Australian. Vinales sixth, Bagnaia 7th, Brad Binder, Oliveira's teammate, is in 8th, with Morbidelli 9th, Bastianini in 10th, top Honda in 11th, Alex Marquez, with Marini, Nakagami, Martin and Savadori rounding out the point scoring positions.